tutorial instruction slash whatever for the Hybrid 3 program. I recommend that you watch the video first, but if you're watching this and you've downloaded the program, you may or not have installed it yet, but basically just run the installer, follow the prompts, and it will install it to your C drive. The directory will be called the Hybrid-3. Inside of this you'll find a few text files, a CVS file, the license file. This is just what I'm supposed to include with every program I write whenever I compile it using that compiler I'm using. You have the games folder. This is where all the databases are stored, and then you have the main executable program. Now I don't use the installer, so but whenever you do install it using the installer, you'll come up with a couple extra files here which deal with uninstalling the program. The program, whenever you install it, it keeps a record of everything that installs to your computer, so that whenever you run the uninstaller, it removes everything. But pretty much everything that this program uses is inside this directory. It doesn't change your windows. It doesn't modify your system files in any way. It's just kind of self-contained. Now I'm going to kind of get into the nuts and bolts here, and I'm going to be jumping back and forth because I really can't explain everything without jumping around. But once you've run the installer and got the program installed and you open it up, first thing you need to do is load your database. Just click on the load button and it will open up the select game file, and you need to navigate to your Hybrid-3/games folder, and you'll see that all the names of the games are named using the abbreviation for the state. Like this would be California, Colorado, Connecticut, DC, Delaware, Florida, etc., etc. But you would just scroll down in the list and find your state. I'm in Missouri, so I'll select that. Now you can either double click on this or you can highlight it and then click open down at the bottom. You can't really see that there, I don't think. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. Click open. It'll go ahead and load your state. The next the next thing you need to do is look at the database and check to see that your database is up to date. I think all these are up to date to the 4th or 5th, so you may have to add a couple of, update a couple of lines before it's ready to play. To update your game, just click on the update, and this just has a manual update option. Up here at the top you'll see a reminder to be sure and set the date for the draw that you're updating. The 3 digits here, these are the actual digits that are drawn for the pick 3. To adjust the date, you can just move the mouse over any of these values, and then either left or right click to increase or decrease the value. Once you've got the date set, then you would set your numbers here to whatever the numbers were that were drawn in the set. Once you've got the date set, the numbers in, then just click save. Okay, it'll go ahead and write that set to the database, and then it'll return here again. You notice that it went back to the 555. This is kind of the default or the center of the 10 digits for each of the positions. I just done that to make it a little bit, so you didn't have to click quite as much. But anyway, once you've entered in all of your numbers and saved them for so that your database is updated, just click the close button. And when you click close there, what it does is it goes through and it rebuilds all the internal files. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to jump back to the database, because I'm going to remove this particular set right here, because this is just a bum set of numbers. I just put those in for illustration purposes. I don't recommend that you do this or make any edits while the program is open. This is the There's different ways you could go into the game folder and find your particular game, open it in Notepad, and then edit it with the program closed. But if you do edit it the way that I'm doing here, once you're done making your edits, click File and Save, and then close that, and then exit the program. Now, the reason why I exit the program is so that whenever I go back and restart the program, then the data will all be straight. If you don't make any changes to your database, while through Notepad, then you don't need to worry about that. But if you do change, the database while you're here, then you need to, after you save and close it, you need to exit the program and restart it. Okay, the next button here is the reset button, and that just resets all these three values to 0 and erases any lines that you've generated using the run option. Now, I'm going to jump around here a little bit. I'm going to click on the dump file, and you can see when you click that, but actually when you left click it, it generates two different files. One of them is a CVS file that has this information for 1,000 games, and then there's one that the user can print out or just open up to study, to try to get the values to play for the next game. Now we see here that in this is what I call the hybrid value. This is a coded system that only uses digits 1, 2, or 0, 1, 2, and 3 for each of the columns. So the highest value that you ever have to set will be 3. I'll come back to this in a little bit, but for right now, we can see that the last game was 322. This is the most current game in my database. And the way this is laid out is there are 4 columns of data. The first one represents the most recent update in your database and goes down 30 games. The second one is games 31 through 60, 61 through 90, or 91 to 120. So in this particular file right here, you can see all the hybrid codes for the last 120 games. And if we look at this, I clicked the wrong thing. Okay, so we had 322 for the last game, and these are the values that you would have played in here. Now, if we look at our database, the actual set that was drawn was 802, but the hybrid 3-digit code was a 322. And then, once you've analyzed the data and came up with these 3 values, then just click Run, and then you can click the View button to see the lines that it was generated. Now, the program generates 16 lines for each of the 3-digit codes, and you can see that the 802 actually came out the very first draw that it generated. So we can see that, there's the set that we would have been looking for. I was doing kind of an after-the-fact setup, but I'm sure, everybody understands that. The user, pretty much the full thing on this program is you're just trying to set these 3 values. Now, there is if you right-click on the dump option, there is, it'll open up this file right here, and there's actually 64 of these 3-digit codes. But what this does is it breaks them down into kind of groups. You've got your triples like 000, 111, 222, etc. Then you got your pair of 00 plus a 1, and you can see that there's 3 ways that you can arrange those: 001, 010, or 100. You can see the number of times that it's hit in the last 1,000 games. The program, all it does is it just uses the last 1,000 games of your database. If your database is longer than that, then it still only uses 1,000 games. If your database doesn't have 1,000 games in it, then it'll build this data based on however many lines you do have. You can see that it's pretty much laid out for all 64 patterns, and I started to mention this a while ago. When you left click on this, it not only builds this file, but it also builds a a dump file that's in the and it's called DUMP, and then it's a CVS file which can be imported directly into a spreadsheet. If you're into spreadsheets or whatever, you can use this particular file to build something that will kind of help you do the analysis. But anyway, each time you update, if you're going to use a dump file, you need to hit this button so that it regenerates and updates that list. The next option on this is you'll notice here that I've got a background image loaded. I've actually included 10 different images that you can load as the background screen. To change this, what you would do, you press the C as in Charlie on the keyboard, and it takes you to the menu. You can see that there's 10 different images here. To change the image, just left or right click to raise or lower this value. I've got it set to 9, so it will load image 9. Once I've got this value set here, then press E on the keyboard, and you can see that it changed the background screen. But you can do that for any of the images here. There should be something here that will work for just about anybody, hopefully. I'll set that to 5. Little puppies, and you can see that I'm going to set that back to 6. I kind of like the 6. Okay, now I think I've covered all the buttons and how they work. Basically what you'll do, if you just play one state, you'll load your game, just keep it updated, and then it'll just be from that point on, you'll just be trying to set these 3 digits, generate the numbers, and then, view them or play them, whatever you want to do. I will also mention that the run button also has a right-click option, and what this does is it's the same as the run process, but it tries to filter the sets down in the process. Now, a lot of times, the right-click option will always reduce to 10 lines. The left-click option always, gives you 16. But anytime you right-click the option, the run button, you actually run the chance of actually losing the winning set. You can see right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There should be 10 lines in there, but you can see that it did manage to trap the 802 in the fewer lines. Now if I left click this and I've got these 3 values set correctly, then I'm guaranteed that the 802 will be in there, and again it's the very first line on the in the file. But anyway, you just need to be aware that the guarantee for this, or this program comes without any kind of warranty or anything like that. But it's designed that if you've got these 3 digits set correctly and you left click the run button, it will produce a pick 3 straight. If you right click the run button, it'll only generate 10 lines, and you run the, even if you've got these set right, you run the risk of possibly filtering out the winning set. Now, with all that said, I'm going to go back into a little bit of the analysis. Now, this doesn't have any analysis whatsoever other than these files. But I want to illustrate a couple of things here. That's maybe not as bad as what you might think. If you print this out or just open it up and study it, you'll find a lot of things in here that are quite interesting. Now, notice that from game to game, if you look at almost any game in, the last 120, or any amount of game, you'll find that these points that I'm about to make here are pretty consistent. Now notice here we had a 3-2-2 in the last, or my latest game, but before that we had a 1-3-2. notice that two of the digits repeated from this game to this game. Here we had a 302, and again we had the 3 and 2 repeated. Here we had a 230, and here we had a 302, so all three digits repeated, but just in a slightly different order. Here we had a 220, so again the 2 and the 0 repeated. And this just goes on and on. Now you'll see places where it will actually, kind of take a break. And here we see there was a 133, then we got a 000 here, but then in the next game it was a 311. So, if you look at this, here we had a 213, there was a 312. We had a 121, then we had a 111, which again, two of the digits matched. You'll see this over and over. You'll see right, here we had like a 213, then it skipped. We had a 000. But the next game we picked up two digits. Here we had another skip, but then the next game we had the 1 and the 3 in there. And we also had a 1-2 repeat from this game to this game. But you'll see this kind of stuff, and if you study this enough, there are times when it will actually the same digits will repeat game to game. Here we had a 102 and a 102. It was a perfect match, but we're only working with digits 0, 1, 2, and 3. So here we had a 0 or a 2-0. We had a 2-0 in that one, a 2-0 in this one. We jumped here to the 1 and 3. Up here we had a 1 and 3. Here we had a 2 and a 3 repeated here, a 2 and a 0 repeated there, a 2 and a 0 repeated again. We had a 2 and a 3, which would be just, a one match there. But, if you study this data, you'll find patterns in here. And here we had an 022, then a 202, then an 002, then a 102. You can see that the majority of the time, whatever the last game was, you can pretty much count that two of these digits are going to be the same. Now, it'll be up for you to determine which order to put those in, which digit to add to it. But again, that's where the right-click option, you can look each of those patterns up and you can see its hit rate, the number of hits that it's hit, games out like this here. The pattern is 112. It's hit 24 times. The last time it hit was 132 games ago. It hit 2 games before that, then 8 games before that, 64 games before that, 99, etc., etc. And this data is shown for all 64 possible patterns. You got a header right here that tells you what you're looking at. This is a pair 0, 0 plus 1. These are the 3 ways that it can be arranged, 0, 0, 1. 0, 1, 0 or 1, 0, 0. Again, you can look at this data and try to help make a decision on what value, which 3 values you play in here. Now, I'll go ahead and run this again. If you view this now, not so much with this particular game here, but when I believe he's building a spreadsheet that can be used with this using the dump file that's created. But here's something that I've noticed. Normally in the 16 lines, you'll have like 4 or 5 lines that start with the, one digit, another 4 that start, or so that start with another digit, and so on. So if you're, any good at playing pick 3 or have some method where you can kind of, pick one digit, you might just play the lines in here that, kind of, whichever digit. Like if you thought 4 was going to be the last digit, then you could come down here and just play the lines that have a 4 as the last digit, which in this one it would be the 994, the 934, the 874, the 814, just a way to reduce your numbers if you don't want to play all 16. 16, if you play the 50-cent bet, straight bet, you can cover that for $8. So it's just up to the user how much they want to reduce or whatever. But I think I've covered everything, and I'm sure there'll be more questions once I post this at LP. I just ask that everybody that uses this to join in the post. If you find something in this data that, will help others, then I ask that you, or I actually meant us, then I ask that you post if you come up with some kind of method that seems to, give you, make better choices or whatever. I ask that you share it with others. This program, like all my stuff, is absolutely free. There's no limits. You can pass, share it, whatever. One thing I will say, after I built this, I always scan my own stuff, more or less just to see what the online scanners say. But the Total Virus scan, I uploaded the install package and had them scan it, and it came back with one out of 68 different scan engines. One of them came back with some kind of a hit, but I've been uploading stuff in LP for I don't know how many years, and probably over 100 different programs that have been downloaded thousands and thousands and thousands of times. But I've never had there's no spyware, there's no malware, there's no anything like that in any of my programs. So you either trust me or you don't. But I really believe that we can have a good time with this program. Just post away and whatever you think. If you don't like it, say that. If you don't like it, you can hit the uninstall button and uninstall it and go on your way. But I really think we can have some fun with this along the way and maybe win some nice prizes. That's going to do it for this video. I'll talk with y'all